Does that sound like a team perfectly in sync to you? Well, I hope it didn't, because if it did, then you need to look up the definition for in sync in the dictionary again. If you were paying attention, you have probably figured out that the person in the purple text is me, Starfall. I know, it doesn't sound like me, right? Well, since this is my first video, you don't know whether it sounds like me or not, unless you're one of those people on this server I'm talking about. But that's not the point, for you see all the text that I just showed you? That was all a lie. I never dropped the loot into lava. Golden did give the Trailblazer to Red, but we agreed on that earlier. And Red didn't betray us. I let him kill me, just like I let Golden kill me. But why would I do that? Why would we lie in public chat? Well, to understand that, I have to tell you the story of the Rift SMP Season 2. And before you ask why I'm not starting with Season 1 first, that's because Season 1 was boring. Nothing happened in Season 1 at all. Trust me. So, let me tell you a story. So, what is the Rift SMP exactly? Well, it's a server founded by Nico. He invited a bunch of people from Origin Realms, a Minecraft server which we all play on, to join it. At the start of Season 2, the only people on the server were me, Golden, Saira, Red, Nico, and Scoot. A few people joined later on, but we'll get to that. I first logged on to the server 1 week late, which is never a good idea, but since the Never was open from the beginning this season, everyone else was 1,000 times more geared than me. At spawn, I was greeted by Golden, Sayura, Nico, and Scoot. Or, that's what I remember. I don't remember this that well. But they were all wearing iron, diamond, and in the case of Golden, Neverite armor. I don't remember exactly what started it, but there was a fight. And spawn was at a cliff, so it went down pretty quickly. People died a lot. I died a lot since I was the least geared person in the group. And eventually it got so bad that Nico had to shut down the server entirely. When the server was down, I had time to think. And I decided to make myself a promise. I would try my best to remain neutral and not get into any fights and try to stop other people from getting fights, which is basically what I do on Origin Realms. In the end, though, I did not keep that promise. When the server got back up, I started looking for a place to settle down and make a base. And close to spawn, I found a forest. A purple forest. Did I mention that this server had resource packs? It was a lavender forest biome from the Terralith resource pack. The other resource packs are Incendium for the Never, Stellar Rarity for the End, and the Creeper's Code for basically everything else. But as I was saying, I found the forest, and I was like, this would be a great place to live. And apparently, other people thought so too, because soon enough, I found a big tree stump, which is where my friend Saira has set up. And we agreed that we should live together in the same tree stump. And so we set up. I did the basic Minecraft stuff like breaking down trees, curing a zombie villager. I remember going caving once, but that was quite short-lived. And I remember doing a lot of fishing. Like, a lot of it. I don't know why I did a lot of fishing. Really, I have no idea. But obviously, because this server is this server, peace cannot last forever. I was setting up a campfire in the tree stump when Nico interrupted the entire server, saying in chat, "Sport is coming on soon. Enjoy!" And then Inventive Sport logged on. Basically, on Origin Realms, everyone is kind of enemies with Sport. Except for me. I try to be friends with everyone. But, yeah, so basically, everyone was panicking. Except for me. I was trying to stay calm. And, a lot of people kept panicking until I decided to log off for the night. After waking up, I decided to play on Origin Realms, since because of the server, I hadn't done so in a while. And when I did, Golden was there, and he informed me that whilst I was sleeping, Sport had teamed up with Sayura remarkably. I was really surprised when I heard this. And together, they had burnt down Golden's house and possibly stolen and burnt his items. I'm still not exactly clear on the details. And, this was against the server rules, so both of them got banned. The server had a rollback and, well, things are good except for Sayura and Sport still being banned. When I talked to the two of them when they were on Origin Realms later, Sport said he did it because he forgot that it was against the rules. When I spoke to Sayura, however, she said that Inventive had bribed her with muffins and cookies. I am not joking. She was bribed with muffins and cookies. So, yeah. Around this time, me and Scoot went searching for a swamp biome and snails, which were added in the TCC, the Creeper's Code, resource pack. So we found the swamp, and we found snails. I got a snail as well, and Scoot got a lot of snails. And I didn't think this was important at the time, but I decided to name my new snail Louise. She would become a big fin later on. Yeah, a snail. I know this doesn't sound relevant, and it probably isn't, but I thought it was worth mentioning anyways. Okay, let's go back to all the drama and the fun stuff. Like I mentioned before, there are resource packs on the server, and Incendium meant the Nether had gotten a whole new big revamp. And this revamp included a lot of powerful weapons, like a bow called the Ragnarok that could shoot lightning, a sword called the Daybreaker, which makes nice, funny noises, and it makes mobs drop gold, basically. All of the mobs. These are just a few of the examples. So basically, I tried to get a Never Portal as soon as possible. Well, it wasn't really me who got it. It was more like Saira got it whilst I wasn't online. Or someone else got it. I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't online. Anyways, so basically I went into the Never. And I pretty sure I remember doing some mining for Netherite. I got some Netherite. And then Golden invited me to do a boss called the Hovering Inferno, otherwise known as the final boss of Incendium. Very big and scary. In its second phase, it could, two-shot full Netherite, perhaps. So, I decided, sure. We traveled to the altar, which is the structure where you summon the Inferno, on the Nether roof, because if we traveled by foot, I probably would have died. So we made it to the coordinates, we made another portal, we built another portal so that we could get into the coordinates, or close by at least. And we did make it, and then we went there, and I realized I had a snail in a bucket in my inventory. So, I was like, let me put out the snail for good luck. And I put out Louise. She was on the altar, and then I scooped her back up into the bucket. And I went into a little cubby because I did not want to attack the first phase. That was Golden's job. We fought the Inferno, and I was shooting at it with lightning using my Ragnarok from my little cubby. We fought it, and then it got into the second phase. And earlier on, we'd set up a respawn anchor because we were gonna die a lot. And what we didn't realize was by setting up a respawn anchor, since this server had keep inventory on, because some of us have skill issue. This includes me, by the way. So when we died, we would spawn in the respawn anchor, run back into the room, and we would die again. And the second phase, it does a lot of damage, but you don't need to do any damage to it. You just need to survive for a while. So we just stayed in the respawn anchor room, or the room we had placed the respawn anchor in, and just waited for the clock to tick down. I was shoving glowstone dust into the anchor like crazy, but apart from that, there was no stress. We just easily defeated the second phase of the boss. With a few deaths, of course. The deaths are unavoidable unless you drink this very overpowered potion. So, yeah, we defeated the Inferno. But that isn't the only Never thing I want to talk about. You see, there's this really good sword in the Incendium data pack called the Warped Wyverblade. You get this Wyverblade by killing the Wyver in the Warped Forest or the Inverted Forest. And it was a 1 in 3 chance. It's okay chances. It's good odds, right? Well, Golden tried 9 times to get this Wyverblade. He got none. I was there with him for some of the attempts, and yes, we killed a Wyver multiple times in the Inverted Forest and did not get the Wyverblade. At this point, Golden asked Liver for him to give him a Wyverblade, because he definitely deserved it, and Liver did give, the Witherblade. And I'm pretty sure that Golden was the only person in season 2 to have a Witherblade. I know that Space, someone who joined later, tried 8 times and didn't get it. I don't know if Liver/gifted him as one as well, but let's just assume he didn't. And that wraps up all the Never stuff. You might have noticed that I haven't mentioned anything about the end yet. And you would think with Golden getting stuff so quickly that he would have already killed the Ender Dragon and done any custom stuff in the end. Well, this is because for the first few months or weeks on the server, I forgot how long it was, the end was closed. And just like a week before the end finally opened, Nico made an announcement. I was casually farming stick trade for mended, for whatever it was that needed mended. And he said that the end would be an anarchy zone, meaning that there was no rules. You could kill anyone you want with no reason whatsoever. You could grief their bases. You could do anything. But what was in the end stayed in the end. And also, he said that whoever got the dragon egg would be able to make all the rules in the end. So, it became... Yeah, I was panicking. At this point, I had pretty much formed up with a team with me, Golden, and Red. And around this point was when Hatter joined the server. He was not as charming back then because he changed his username. But we didn't think much of it first. I gave him a few welcoming gifts to the server as I had for everyone else. Golden gave him some stuff as well. He burnt down the tree, the phoenix tree, which happens a lot, so I just generally ignored it. After a server rollback, everything was fine. Also, he burned down the tree by accident. All of the incendium weapons make fire. And the Holy Wrath was one that had burned down a tree twice, actually. But anyways, Red messaged me one time, and then he said, Charmin asked me to join his team. Should I spy on him? And I was like, thinking, spying on people probably isn't that great of a thing to do. So I was like, ask him what he wants to do when he gets the egg. And Red said, a bit later, he says he wants to make an empire. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what type of empire he wanted to make, but an empire sounds pretty bad. So I said, spy on him. And that was how it all started. Our first lie happened when we were going to fight the Hovering Inferno again. And we were mainly talking in private chat because Hatter was online at that time. And I said to Golden, should we try to mislead Hatter a bit? And then, pretty sure he agreed. So I was like, follow my lead. And I said, wow, I spent ages grinding for this emblem of Solaris. It's like really good for this boss. And I was like, it's a really low drop chance. I spent ages grinding blazes for it. I don't know whether or not that lie had any fruition. Whether Charmin ever tried to get the emblem of Solaris, that imaginary item that does not exist, and totally will not exist later in any way, shape, or form. But that was just the beginning. It all started from there. After we beat the Inferno, I said I dropped the loot into lava to make him think that we didn't get anything from that boss fight. When we went back to spawn, I had Golden kill me a few times just to show he was really angry. Next time we killed the Inferno, we pretended that we fell out and Golden was given the Trailblazer that he got to Red. And I pretended to be really mad about that, even though we agreed. Like, that was kind of the stuff in the intro segment. And I acted stingy around Red for a while. We informed him of what we had done. And So, Hatter at this point probably thinks that we're a team that's fallen apart. Red just got a very overpowered bow. And our team was falling apart. That was the main thing. And then, at this point, Red staged his fake betrayal. And killed me. Once, twice, 3 times. I forgot. I forget a lot of things. But, of course, why not sprinkle in a few more lies? And I said, well, I expected this, and I tagged you, so I know exactly where you are. And I used the /whisper command and asked Red, tell me your chords, please. So you see, the only reason these lies worked was that this server had resource packs, and Charmin, Hatter, didn't know anything about these resource packs. Well, he did know a bit, but he didn't know everything. So I had Red relay their chords for me as they were running away from the Lavender Forest, because obviously Red had just betrayed me. Well, betrayed in quotation marks. And as they were running, I kept saying out what chords they had. And Hacker was freaking out. I'm pretty sure he moved bases because I said the location of the chords. And finally, the fight with the Ender Dragon came. The day of the fight dawned. Nico gathered people together. We were about to go into the end. A stronghold had been located earlier. All the Eyes of Ender required to step into the vast unknown land were found. It was going to be the fight of our lives. I missed it. I missed the dragon fight. From what I heard, it was pretty anticlimactic, and Red got the dragon egg. Pretty cool, right? The end was open now. We could go loot and get all this overpowered stuff from Stellarity. So, that's fun, I guess. Everything began to die down a bit. The end had opened. We looted a lot of structures, did some void fishing because apparently that's a thing in Stellarity. But we were all on edge expecting something to happen, but nothing did. The end is a big, big place after all. We're not online all the time. We live in different time zones, so not much happened. We still played, of course. We still continued to be on edge until that fateful day. That would mean that the server was gonna end a little bit earlier than expected. It was the 30th of August. A pretty usual day, but it was also the day that the Blight and Fight update came out on Origin Realms. The update to Origin Realms added a new biome, new blocks, new mobs, new structures, and even a new boss, and a new relic set. It was a big update, the update we had all been waiting for. Some people had been waiting for years for this update. We were all excited to play out this update, and we all played Origin Realms. So we gradually spent more and more time on Origin Realms instead of the SMP. And things were like that. We played on Origin Realms, we fought the boss, we got the new relic set. Golden and Red and the rest of them, they were way better at me than fighting the boss. My personal best is 8 minutes. I'm still not proud of that. Anyways, I founded the Spire Hopper service. And the Rift SMP later. We still played a bit, but not as much as before. And so Nico decided to make a finale. And it was okay, I guess. He spawned in a bunch of wardens, as he does. And we fought the wardens to varying degrees of success. Golden could tank and kill most of them, whilst I was just sniping them with lightning arrows from my Ragnarok, which was seriously underpowered. I got no kills, and this part at the very end was just about the only fun part. We told Charmin, Hatter, whatever, all of the lies that we had told. We told him the truth for once. All of it. And then Nico said, "Oh, Hatter, so sorry that I lied to you. How about you have admin for 30 seconds? And the sky was filled with ender dragons and wyverns, and the screen was filled with boss bars, and we don't know whether Nico closed the server, whether the server crashed or something, but that day it closed. And that was the final day of the Rift SMP Season 2. This video has been 30 minutes long. I know, that's a lot, right? Not a lot on the grand scale of things, but you just spent 30 minutes of your life. 30 minutes that you're never getting back. Listening to some random person talk about a server that doesn't concern you at all, for 30 minutes. Now, most of you are probably regretting ever clicking on this video. But if you enjoyed this story, if you really did, then I must thank you. I made this video to share with anyone who is willing to listen. A story that I felt like I should share. A story that is dear to my heart. A story that me and a bunch of my friends with a very anticlimactic ending, and I don't know what else, but if you enjoyed it, then thank you. It really means a lot to me, even though I'll probably never know. And also, on an ending note, if your name is Hatter, well, not your name, of course, but if you are Hatter and you are watching this right now, I would like to tell you how incredibly sorry I am for everything, I guess.